What's good, YouTube? It's YN360, and today I think it's a good time that we have a chat about the A7S III. Let's get into it. Alright guys, it is July 27th, 2020, and it is one day before the July 28th announcement of the long-awaited A7S III. Anyone who's shot Sony has been waiting on this camera for a very, very long time, and we're hoping that we're not going to be disappointed here and we get a lot of leaks. So we're going to just look through those leaks and kind of see what's up, how it compares to the R5, the R6, and if I plan on switching back to Sony. Because if you watch this channel, you see that I have switched over to the EOS R, and this may mean that I'm going back to Sony if I haven't already. So let's just dive into this. This is going to be a new kind of series, I guess, of just having quick chats to a camera, uploading it, getting your feedback. No crazy B-roll, no crazy effects or any crazy stuff like that. Just straight up conversation about a topic. Hopefully I can keep it short. It may start off a little bit longer and then I'll get it shortened as quick as I can. But anyhow, let's have a quick chat about the A7S III. Let's take a look at the specs here. I've got them pulled up. Basically, it's gonna have a 12 megapixel sensor. I was hoping for at least 20 or 24. It looks like they're saying it will record 240 frames per second in 1080. I have heard rumors that you only get autofocus up to like 180, which is fine. 4K 120, 10-bit 422, and 4K 120 RAW over HDMI. So you should also get the 4K 60 10-bit 422 internal. At least that's what they're saying, which I believe. I believe if you're gonna record like 4K 120, especially even RAW and non-RAW, you're gonna have to do it over HDMI. I'm not sure that the camera will put up with that much heat. It looks like it's gonna downsample 1080 from 4K, so that's gonna make for a really crispy 4K. I think that's kind of what the EOS R does. And the only reason I say that is because the EOS R has some of the best looking 1080 footage I've ever seen and used in my life. The EOS R video that I posted on my channel was all shot in 1080/60. There's not a single piece of 4K footage in there, upscaled to a 4K timeline and posted, and it looks like 4K. No internal RAW. I don't care about internal RAW. I think if you're gonna shoot RAW, you need to have an external recorder anyway, because you're not gonna get that much on an SD card. 600 megabits per second bit rate in video. I'm hoping. So if Sony gives us all this stuff internal and it has shit bit rates, it's not gonna be good. A base ISO of 160 for S-Log3. I don't think a lot of people are using S-Log3, but if we do get RAW video, S-Log3 will definitely come in handy. And then even S-Log2, but they have kind of their different purposes. There's not gonna be dual ISO. It's saying there's a max ISO of 409,600 in video. 16-bit RAW images, that's pretty common. Sony claims 15 stops of dynamic range. 15 stops of dynamic range is pretty common for Sony. It seems like there's a movie edit add-on compatibility for image stabilization in post, so I'm not sure what exactly that is, but it's kind of like gyroscope information, I guess, that the NLE can use to kind of adjust for, like, I don't know, warp stabilizer and stuff. It's gonna have a very high resolution EVF, don't really care about that. It's gonna have the same AF system as the A7R4, which is really good. And that was kind of one of the points to me, like if the A7S III does drop, even if the specs are better than the R5, R6, if it did not have phase detect autofocus, eye tracking, face tracking, I don't want it. I'm spoiled by autofocus. I will not manual focus unless I'm doing like a top-down shot in a video, or there's like a dead-on lockdown shot where something's not moving that much. That's when I'll do it. I'm not doing any handheld manual focus video. And I mean, you can go look at Philip Bloom's channel. He can talk all about autofocus and how he uses it as a tool. It used to be frowned upon to use autofocus, but I think autofocus is so good now. And with the touch screens, like, you have to account for that to be your source of focusing, whereas you can supplement with manual focus when needed. But that's just my opinion. They say there's no overheating, no record limit. There's a passive noise-free cooling system. From the leaked images that I've seen, it does look slightly thicker. They've moved the record button to the top. It has a flippy out screen. So that's one of the big things too. And if I was an A7R4 owner, I'd be kind of mad because like give us an A7R4 like and add like a letter to it and just have it with a flippy screen. I don't know. But it's gonna be great for the A7 IV when that does come out and it has a flippy screen. So it's pretty cool. And I mean, maybe there's gonna be someone who will put together like a conversion kit to convert the R4 to a flippy screen. I don't know. But I'm not sure that's gonna work because there has to be a gyroscope mechanism when the screen flips over to know that it flips, and I don't think that's kind of built into the Sony A7R4, so it's probably not even possible. They say the price is gonna be around $3,500 or so in the US. So, I mean, that's pretty affordable, especially when you compare it to the R5 camera. And I'll try to get some of those leaked images up on the screen, but it does also look like it has a full HDMI out because of the thicker body. They could fit it in there. It does have that nice A7R4, really thick, really rugged body with the nice big mashable buttons. The card slots are gonna be, I believe it's CF Express Type A card, which is a little smaller than an SD card, but it has the speeds of a CF Express, which is like, you can get like 1/1000th or something like that, 1,000 megabits per second or something like that. I don't know the specifics. But with that said, what does that leave with the R5, R6? Because I definitely had my money put away to pre-order the R6. Now with the R6, you're only getting 4K 60, which is fine for me. I don't need 4K 120, I don't need 8K. So to me, that was the best thing. I didn't need the RAW, as long as it had log and I could get some nice external footage as well. It was definitely just gonna be enough for me. So if you were looking into that boat, I was gonna recommend the R6, not the R5. Especially for the price point, you're looking at like 4,000 versus like 2,700 after taxes. The 2,700 looks a lot better. Like you could get two of those cameras almost for one price of R5. So that's kind of where I was headed at. And yeah, until I heard about all the overheating issues. Now, I'm not big on like throwing a big fit about the overheating issues because Sony's had those in the past and they've always resolved them with firmware. Now, I've heard some crazy stories about the R6, R5 overheating even after photo shoots and then switching the video and it overheating immediately. So what I think is gonna happen is there's gonna be a delay on the release, which I already kind of expected because of coronavirus and kind of production is a little slow. They're gonna release some type of firmware to fix that issue. If they can't fix that issue, and they're probably testing it right now, they're going to have to do some type of hardware recall where they swap out a part or install something else into the camera at no cost to the customer. And then anyone else who's already ordered one, they're gonna have to wait a little longer because they're gonna have to update all those cameras. But hopefully they can just do it with a firmware. Now, where do I stand on this? If these specifications are true, I am 100% going back to the Sony system and the A7S III. And that's just me personally. I've used Sony in the past, I've used Canon in the past, I've used Nikon. I started out with Nikon. So if you watched any videos on this channel, you know that I have no kind of brand loyalty. I couldn't get sponsored by Canon, Sony, or Nikon because I will use whatever is the best tool for the job. And from what I'm gonna see, if it is true, the A7S III is gonna be the best tool for pretty much any job except for photography. So that's where like an A7 III would come into play, where when I'm doing photo work, use the A7 III. When I'm doing video work, I will use the A7S III. And then when the A7 IV comes out, that'll be my photo, probably video camera too, because I'm expecting that camera will have some of these specs. Probably the same body, maybe not the record button moving, but it'll have the same card options, it'll have the flippy out screen, it'll have the higher megapixels, maybe something closer to like 30, 36, and then I can get rid of any other cameras that I have. I also like to keep 3 cameras, and since we're talking about switching, I actually did already get rid of my EOS R. So I didn't get rid of the EOS R to switch to Sony. I got rid of the EOS R expecting the R6, R5, and then bringing my EOS R price down so low that I couldn't get any of the money back at a reasonable cost. So I got rid of it while the price was still kind of high, around 1,700 bucks. And then I put some money with that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold this and I'm gonna pre-order the R6. Then out of nowhere comes the A7S3 leak, which I think Sony was holding on to it, and it just kind of surprised a lot of people. So I'm definitely going to get the A7S3. And while we're talking about Sony stuff, I did sell the EOS R. I have had so many cameras between that and now, but right now at this exact moment, I'm filming on an A7 III again with a Sigma 18-35. I have an A7 II over here for some close-up shots on, I'm gonna be unboxing this A10 Mini Pro, and then an A6500 up here for my top-down shot. So I have 3 Sonys in the room right now. So my plan is to get rid of the A7 II, get an A7S III, have an A7S III, A7 III, A6500 until the A7 IV comes out. And I think that will hold me down for anything that I ever need to do. So in that regard, I'm going Sony. I will still say that the Canon has the best autofocus when it comes to face tracking. Now, eye tracking, Sony is pretty much neck and neck with them. The only thing that has the video eye tracking right now, though, is the 6600 and the A7R4. But if the A7S III gets that, I mean, to me, that's a game changer. Again, Canon dual pixel face tracking is amazing. And the one thing I didn't like was kind of like the touch tracking. The touch tracking kind of sucked. But if you like Canon, hey, go get the R5, R6, wait for them to fix that thing. It'll be an amazing camera for you. But for me, the Sony system, I just think it's gonna work better because they're finally giving us all the things that the people who have used Sony before wanted. And I just think that that's gonna be the perfect camera. It also gives me that raw output in 4K, which is mainly what I shoot. I don't do the 8K stuff, and since you couldn't get 4K raw out of the R5, R6, again, this is just a better deal for me. So yeah, that was a quick chat, or at least I hope it's a quick chat after I've edited this down. I don't know how long I've been talking here. I could probably look, 17 minutes. So I would say quick chat's like 5 minutes, but I'll work on trying to get these shorter. I do tend to ramble on sometimes. So leave in the comments down below, do you think you will be getting the R5, R6 or the A7S III? And if none of those, which camera are you gonna get? And out of those 3 cameras, which one do you think is the best overall, spec to spec? I would like to see that in the comments below. And if you like these quick chat videos, let me know. I'm gonna make more of these just on varying topics, and then I'll probably have another one when the actual camera gets announced. So yeah, alright guys, so if you like this video, please hit that like button, comment down below, and I'll get back to you immediately. Hit that subscribe button for more content like this, or hit that notification bell if that's something that you're into. That's a wrap. Set all your devices to mute when you get on these videos. Otherwise, you will be interrupted. You dig? I'm trying to figure out what's on this table moving. So much stuff just moving around. I'm really excited about this thing though. I'm about to do this right now. Focus, camera, focus. Peace.